Hey, hey, happy Friday. It is Life on Love. I'm Rev Charles Hall, Charles W. Hall. I always make sure to put that W in there to honor my grandfather, probably the greatest man I've ever known. His name was William Johnson, and I got my William after him, Charles William Hall. There's a little fun fact for you in case you care to get things going. It's Friday. It's January 15th. It's Life on Love. And I'm so grateful to be back with you live to talk more, share more, explore more, dive deep, do what we're here to do. And that's to explore spiritual principle, how we interact with it, and how it can make our lives better. Not just better, but work. You know, when I talked to Sharif Abdullah a few months ago, he made a distinction between, we're not creating a world that's a better place. We're creating a world that works for everyone. So better can look like anything, but a world, think about a life that works for you. What does that mean? Only you know what that means, but a life that works with regards to all the stuff we normally talk about, your relationships, your money, the health of your body, your creativity, your expression, all of those things. What is a life that works for you? No, at some point we really need to spend time, each one of us individually, writing about that. I know Jeff, when we chat, he says he writes every morning when he wakes up at the god awful hour of 5 a.m. Because as we've discussed before, I'm not that morning guy. I'm a night guy. My rhythm swings in the evening time. But he mentions when he gets up in the morning, he writes, and I think it's important to do that, to write at some point. What is a life that works for you? We're going to get into the whole idea this morning of the cup of acceptance, and that too is accepting of the life that works for you. And I submit that a life that works is also a life in which you thrive. That's a life that works is a life in which we're thriving. When we're we're in joy. It's not without challenge. It's not without, those hairy moments. But it's still, because we're thriving, because our life works, we have the tools, we have the awareness, we have the consciousness, we have the capacity to meet it and exceed it and take our life to new levels and new heights. So today it is the cup of acceptance. We're going to dive into it. We're going to hear from Ernest Holmes, as we do every Friday. But before we do that, and Jeff, I'd like you to come in and help me hype this a little bit. I want to start off with a commercial about Beyond Limits and what this 10-week opportunity can do for you. Now, last week Jeff put me on the spot, and we came to a great place about what we want to offer you, and I just want to extend this out a little bit further. So, Beyond Limits is 10 weeks. Monday nights from 6 to 8:30. And it's $275. Now that's $27.50 a week. Now if we break that down by 7 days, it's about $4 a day. $4 a day to go beyond your limits, to create a life that works. Now, Jeff, this is where I want you to come in for a little testimonial. You said you've taken the class twice, is that right?
I think I've taken at least twice, yes.
At least twice. So the class is called Beyond Limits. Let's just unpack that a little bit. And that's what we're up to as a community anyway, as a spiritual community, is we all want to go beyond our limits, right? There's some place we've reached perhaps that's fine, but we want to thrive. We want to fly. What have you noticed about Beyond Limits. And gang, this isn't scripted. This isn't a shtick. We're doing this on the fly right now, making this up. What have you noticed? Because I really want to, I want to really encourage and implore folks to sign up for this and go on this 10-week journey with me, because it's that powerful.
I think again, unscripted, I wasn't expecting this, so thanks, Reverend Charles. I think the beyond for me was to step into, and I don't want to make it sound like, I'm beating on my chest. I'm not, but it taught me every day to try to step into that special gift that I know I have, that I'm supposed to be expressing and sharing with others. And I know if I don't, I'm really kind of doing a disservice. And so, whether that's being creative, that's helping somebody, it's just helping me do that. And it's opened up so many doors because of that. And it's deepened my spiritual awareness. And it's helped me connect with additional people that have similar thoughts. Yesterday, I was in Irvine and met with a new client over there, and it was immediately there was a connection because we're both on the same plane. There was a spiritual and a metaphysical connection, and we're doing business together. And it's just opened up some new doors for me, spiritually and physically and emotionally. So that's probably the biggest thing.
Yep. And I would submit over the next 10 weeks, gang, you're going to spend $275 on something, right? 10 weeks, $275, groceries, gas, all the stuff. Spend it on this. I'm telling you, I'm looking right into the camera. Spend it on this because of what's possible for your life out of it. And with everything, there's an exchange. We invest in something. We want it to mature and grow. And I'm saying invest in your own life right now. And so what we came up with last week is this idea that if partners, spouses, best buddies, business partners, even, right, Jeff?
Yes.
You want to do it together. Buy one, you get the second tuition at 50% off. I want to extend that, and I don't know how we do it. We're gonna figure it out on the other side. But if you want to do it with a family or a pod or a group of associates, buy 3, get the 4th for free. Buy 3, get the 4th complimentary. We're gonna figure out the other side of it, but I'm of the idea, but because we're quarantining and things right now, where there's still, depending on where you are, stay at home and those types of things, that if you get a group of, if you are in a group of folks that is your pod or your group or folks that you have quarantine with or whatever, a family unit, do it together, and then you can chat about it. You can talk about what you're learning and how you're growing together. And I think that's where a lot of the good stuff comes from too, Jeff, is that we're not in a vacuum. I'm not interested in folks being in a vacuum doing this, as part of what we'll do over the 10 weeks is small groups and things like that. But I think it's important that we be able to unpack it together and be able to talk about it behind the scenes. The stuff perhaps that's more intimate to us, the limits that we have that we're only willing to share maybe with an intimate group of people, with folks that really understand us, and that will help take us to the next level. That's why I wanted to add that pod thing. I love dolphin pod. Exactly.
I think that's a great idea, Reverend Charles. If somebody were to go to the website right now, quite frankly, we're not set up for that. So I apologize because I didn't know that was going to happen today. So I think the best thing is just to call the center and let them know that Reverend Charles offered this, through this, and then they can take care of the paperwork there. In the meantime, I'll try to figure something out on the technology. And thanks, Reverend Charles.
We'll work it out. The easiest thing to do, though, is I'm glad Jeff put the number up, 760-346-4649. The number's there. The bottom line is I'm interested. We're coming off of one of the craziest years ever. Let's leap into 21 being a ton of fun. I saw that from somebody. 21 being a ton of fun. Eager guest. I've taken Beyond Limits and the class changed me. It took me over a threshold I hadn't reached before. I strongly recommend. Exactly. Thank you, eager guest. And that's why I wanted to start the show with this. I know we're 9 minutes in, and we've spent probably 7 or 8 on this. but it's that important to me because I see the look in people's eyes when they're changed forever, when something happens. And Jeff, don't worry about the technology side. We're going to figure that out. This is no stress. We're in creative mode right here. That's all. So go to the website, cslpalmdesert.org, or call 760-346-4649. Elizabeth knows exactly what to do to take care of you. So all is well. Thanks for helping me out with that long commercial there, Jeff. You know, we go for an hour at a time. If you're watching a show on normal TV over the air, no one does that anymore, by the way. But, you know, for every, 40 minutes of programming, there's 20 minutes worth of commercials. We come to you 7 days a week, and we don't really have commercials at all. So I just thought I'd throw one in there. I hope you enjoyed it. We want to make it entertaining as well. So today, here's what we're looking at: the cup of acceptance. We're going to hear from Ernest Holmes. We're going to unpack it, and we're gonna explore how.
Hey, Reverend Charles.
Yo.
Hey, I'm sorry. There was something on the couch I needed to jump up and throw in here.
There we go. Get off the couch. I love it when you come in.
Yeah, and I just wanted, before you jumped into this, because I know you've got a scheduled program, but I hear this more and more often about, this whole Zoom thing. And I know Dr. Laura, we were talking, and she's like zoomed out because she's doing it for business. I do it, 7 days a week, multiple times a day. And even though we are interacting and I see you, there still seems to be this separation. What can you offer, advice you can give us to say, hey, we are still one? That's the whole thing. When we come together at the center, we're one big happy family. How can we recreate that in this digital life that we're currently in? It's not going to last forever, I hope.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting question for me because we're having an email exchange, some folks earlier. And I think I got it from my dad. He was always just, my dad, until he passed away at 52, as grown with my brother and my sister and I, as grown people, he kissed me on my lips until the day he passed away. So he said, I learned I just learned to be a kind of a touchy-feely soul from him. So the hugging and, that interacting in that kind of way, being in close proximity to other souls is part of what makes our community such a beautiful place when we can be next to each other and enjoy that part of that part of humanity that makes things so rich. Being able to hug your partner, being able to have your father kiss you on your lips, to be able to get a hug from your mom. I miss that stuff all the time too. So that is a particular challenge, Jeff. And so what I'd say to that is, know this is temporary and that we're still connected in heart. And that's really why I want to encourage us, if there are folks that are in your circle, that you've bubbled with, is to find ways to get together in a manner that's responsible, to connect, in a manner that's socially responsible, to connect with each other. Because, we're all getting tired of it. Just staring into the computer screen and doing things that way. And yet there are ways, I believe, responsibly, to still be able to connect with each other and know this is temporary. We are going to be back together. And to make sure that you're maximizing the times that you do have in the physical presence of another, whatever that might be. For example, this is one example. When I go to the grocery store, got my mask on, I wipe the cart down with the wipes and all that kind of stuff, doing the things I know to be responsible. Got the hand sanitizer, so when my daughter and I get back in the car, we're heading home. I make a point of taking an extra 30 seconds to just look into the eyes, because that's all we have right now, basically, to look into the eyes of the clerk that's checking me out, that's, handling my groceries, and having a little bit more of an in-depth conversation. It could start with, I like your mask. Yeah, well, I got it from da-da-da. Where'd yours come from? It's just those moments of connection where you see into somebody's eyes. I don't know where you go in your circles, what kind of interactions you have with folks in your life, or what it looks like right now. Take an extra 30 seconds. Take an extra 60 seconds. Look into their eyes and have a deeper connection with them. Inquire into them. Ask them something. The likelihood is they're going to ask you something as well. And in that, there's an acknowledgement. I see you as a human being. So for those of us that are at home and haven't been out for a long time, what I want to offer you too is to call the center. Ask for the support that you need. Again, 760-346-4649. Just to hear somebody's voice on the other end of the phone. Just to talk. And when you're out and about, and there's plenty of people that are out and about, we see it when we're out and about, or just I look out my window. Take that extra 30 to 60 seconds and make that deeper connection. And have a trust and a faith that we are going to be back together soon. We are going to be back together soon. Jeff, what do you think? Do you have thoughts on that? I've kind of rambled on a little bit there, but I think that just those few extra moments of connection when we are doing our thing are so meaningful and valuable, and a trust that somehow in human ingenuity, we're gonna come through this thing. Hopefully soon. We don't know, but faith comes into play when I'm thinking about this as well. What do you think? What are your thoughts as you leapt off the couch?
Yeah, I think you hit the points right there. Is sometimes there's it's almost like going to a buffet. Life is like a buffet. Not everything on the buffet do you want to take. And the cool thing about it is because we are human beings, we're the top of the food chain. We can make decisions. So sometimes I fall into a trap where I will see something on the buffet and I'll express how I don't like that. Instead of focusing and using the science of mind and focusing on what I do want and realizing that's the next item on the buffet line and it's there waiting for me. Yeah. And I think sometimes, because we have gone from literally one day a week, Sunday, to 7 days a week. I think it's one of those things that the goal there was to provide more items on the buffet list for those people staying at home or in the situation. So I would encourage you to say, hey, maybe Life on Love is what you want to do, but the other 4 or 5 days a week, it's not it. That's okay. It doesn't mean it's isolating you or making you different or setting you apart. It's saying this is what resonates with your heart and soul. That's great. That's great. Right. And right. I just look forward. I'm like you. I'd look forward to getting back to the center on Sunday morning and actually, turning and actually saying hello to my neighbor and getting into that. I think this would be great. But this is an opportunity, quite frankly. That's where the comments come in. I get excited when I see a comment come in that I can share with you because I know now there's somebody else on the other side. We're not just talking to this little camera on the computer. So that's right. Yeah. Now I'm rambling.
And Jeff, and gang, things are moving in this direction. Technology, the inventions and the innovations of technology are just astounding. And I know Jeff does a lot to be on the forefront of that, but we're also moving in this direction, gang. Are we going to bring back together in our house on Portola? Absolutely. And we're continuing to look at ways that we can continue to reach each other and virtually touch each other in ways that are still meaningful. So there's a both and that's happening here, Jeff. We're looking forward to being back together. And Dr. Joe's very much looking forward to being back together with everybody. We talk all the time. We talk about it. And there's also something about this platform where we continue to be very intentional about our spiritual assist in the world. And we're going to keep doing it. Eager guest, practitioner interns are offering support and affirmative prayer without a fee or contribution. For those of you that don't know, these are a practitioner is a practicer of something. They practice the idea of looking affirmatively at life. So if you'd like a partner, if you are feeling isolated and you'd like a partner to assist you in looking affirmatively at life, 760-346-4649. It's important that you know that we're here. We are here as a community. We're here. And so continue to reach out, and Beyond Limits will also be an opportunity to see other faces once a week. Other faces, you might not know them right away, but you're going to be able to see other people in over 10 weeks. You might have a new virtual buddy, a pen. It's the new idea of a pen pal, right, Jeff? Who had a pen pal when they were a kid?
Yeah.
What's that?
Well, I was going to ask you about that. The formatting is much different than what we see here. We're going to use Zoom, right? So everyone will be seen and heard during your classes. Is that correct?
That's my understanding. You're the maestro. That's my understanding of what we're doing. You're the boss, right?
So you'll be able to see everybody on screen. You'll still have the privates, what I think they've been called the Sangha groups, where we'll have breakouts, and you might have 5 to 10 people depending on the size of the total class. And I know for me, every time and I know for Eager Guest, every time we are in those type of groups, we form a special bond, whether we're physically there or we're virtually there, because we're staying in contact throughout the whole week, because we're keeping each other accountable, or maybe there is that moment where I say, Reverend Charles, I just need a little kick, a little boost, and you're there. I think that's fantastic. So
that's right. Yep. And I think a lot of us, pen pal's kind of an old school idea at this point, but a lot of us had pen pals. We didn't see them, but we got their flavor through the handwriting and just the loving messages and the notes back and forth. So many ways.
There's an opportunity there.
So many ways for us to stay connected, everybody. So they're just the great thing I see about what's happening now in the world is there are more ways for us to be connected. More ways to be connected. So we don't need to be exclusionary and say this is the only way. One of the gifts that's unfolding right now out of what's happening in the world is that there are more ways to be connected. And like what Jeff mentioned, the buffet line, we get to pick and choose. We get to enjoy what works for us. One might not. But the one that might not for you does for somebody else, and vice versa. You get the picture. CSLPalmDesert.org, 760-346-4649. You'll get a live body when you call that number. All right, let's dive in. Ernest Holmes, Cup of Acceptance. It's January 15th. For those of you that aren't familiar with the flow of Life on Love, we hear from Ernest Holmes every week, and then I unpack it along with Ernest. I channel Ernest and we unpack it. And we have a good time doing it. And please, I want to hear from you. Eager guest, everybody else, inspired traveler, whoever's out there, I want to hear from you. Please participate. Here we go. We're going to get into it right now. We've spent 23 minutes doing what we do. Jeff and I could probably just sit and banter for half a day, but that's good banter. That's constructive banter. But let's get into it. Here we go. What Ernest Holmes actually says is, I lift my cup of acceptance. So let's get into it. Here we go. We lift our cup of acceptance to the divine bounty when we think affirmatively and give thanks to the giver of all life. So again, that's source. That's infinite intelligence. Daily, we should practice affirming that our cup is filled and overflowing and running over. Always remembering that what we affirm for ourselves, we must affirm for others. What we affirm for ourselves, we must affirm for others. That's oneness right there, gang. whatever you're desiring for yourself, whatever you're working to accept for yourself, you actually you become part of the field of acceptance for all of life in that way. Living and letting live. Live and let live. That's one of the simplest principles that we can possibly live by. Live and let live. Giving and receiving. Loving and being loved. Our cup of acceptance will be filled from the horn of life's abundance. I think of what is it? The horn, the cornucopia. Is it the vegetables and the fruits? The cornucopia of goodness. Is that a Thanksgiving thing where there's so much good stuff in that horn? The horn of life's abundance is meant to be poured out inside of you, rich and vast and fulfilling and full. For you. Today, we have to get out of our own damn way. And I consider that every day. The thoughts that I have, the conclusions that I've come to. Are they creating anxiety or are they giving me life? Are they creating a shutdown or an open up? And in the open up, we actually extend our cup of acceptance to receive good, to receive new ideas, to receive goodness. He continues, I am living in the continual expectancy that every good thing in my experience shall be multiplied. Woo! All right, I'm going to underline it right now. Forgive me if you think I'm going crazy. Sometimes I get fired up by these. I read it and then I read it again, and here it goes. I am living in the continual expectancy that every good thing in my experience shall be multiplied. There is neither doubt nor uncertainty in my mind. Every denial is transformed into an affirmation. Every negation into an acceptance. Every no into a yes. Affirmative living, acceptance, acceptance. I know that the Spirit of God, the Spirit of life, has made me, and the breath of the Almighty has given me life. Again, God, Almighty, Spirit, these are words to describe that indescribable something. And if you're listening to this and feel in some way that you're hemmed up, one of the things I love about life, I shared this before, is that I've got friends that don't want to have anything to do with church. They do want to have something to do with thriving and living a great life. And I've got so many friends that want to have something to do with church, and that's why I'm a reverend. But also the crossover. So if you're listening to this and you're not a quote unquote church goer, you're not someone that wants to show up on Sundays and do the whole worship thing and sing and you know, that kind of thing in a church setting, we still come from the same thing. We're still inspired by the same thing. My friend Ben, who's a realtor, still inspired by the same thing. I'm inspired by the things he puts on Facebook. I'm inspired by the things I read from him. Don't think he's a churchgoer. Know that he's a life goer. I know that he is inspired, and that inspires me. So again, the language is important. The source of it is what's most important. We're talking about life. We're talking about an infinite intelligence. We're talking about love. I have complete confidence in this Spirit. I know that I am beloved and needed. I feel at home with God. I feel at home with life. I feel at home with love. Final paragraph. Today is filled with blessing for myself and others. The past is gone, and I gladly loose it and let it go. The present is filled with peace and joy, and the future with hope. The present is filled with peace and joy, and the future with hope. Gratefully, I accept of the divine love and givingness. And he capitalizes those. I just want to show you this real quick. Can you see this? He capitalizes those words. No, that's going to be too fuzzy. Divine love and givingness, though, Ernest Holmes capitalizes to show that it's another word for the Almighty, for God. Divine love and givingness. We can all get with that, right? And gratefully, I accept of the divine love and givingness, and gladly extend them to everyone I meet. I am made whole with the wholeness of the Spirit. Gently, but with complete certainty, I am guided into right action and successful accomplishment of all good desires. I'm going to read that one more time. Gently, but with complete certainty, I am guided into right action and successful accomplishment of all good desires. This I accept. This I experience. Extending your cup of acceptance. Today is filled with blessings for myself and others. The past is gone, and I gladly loose it and let it go. The present is filled with peace and joy, and the future with hope. Gratefully, I accept of the divine love and givingness, and gladly extend them to everyone I meet. I am made whole with the wholeness of the Spirit. Gently, but with complete certainty, I am guided into right action and successful accomplishment of all good desires. This I accept. This I experience. What are your good desires? Go grab a pen. Grab a pen and a piece of paper. Now, or when you're watching this down the road, what are your good desires? Write 10 of them down right now. A good desire, financial security, a healthy knee, healing from COVID, a family that is loving, a scenario at work that now finds solution. What are your good desires? I am guided into right action and successful accomplishment of all good desires. This I accept. This I experience. Now that's a life that works for you. And what I want right now is I want to hear from you. What is a desire that you have for your life? What's a desire right now live on this show that I can hear, that I can see or read from you, just to say yes to, so you know that there's somebody else that's saying yes to the good that you desire in your life. Weigh in. I want to hear from you. Come on, Life on Love. We're LOLing. I want to hear from a few of you. What is a good that you desire? I am guided into right action and successful accomplishment of all good desires, your desires. This I accept. This I experience. Conviction equals demonstration, no matter what it is. And we're being invited into something right now. What are you convinced of? It will demonstrate in your life. Now, you can be convinced that the world's a scary place. You can be convinced that that things are falling apart. Armageddon is upon us. Or you can be convinced that there's a spiritual revolution taking place right now that is taking the collective heart, mind, and soul of humanity to places we haven't known before that are so beautiful and magnificent. That there's a unifying something that's happening right now. Transforming the heart, mind, and soul of the collective human condition into a more beautiful collective experience than we've ever known. And it starts with you. What good are you desiring right now? What good do you desire to experience right now? When you are demonstrating your good, when you are demonstrating the desire of your heart, when you are clear and convinced of the desire of your heart, you are creating a world collectively that is more beautiful than it's ever been. That's why I continue to say there is no such thing as world peace. There is such thing as individual peace. And when all the individuals in the world achieve peace, then we will have that thing that we call world peace. But world peace is elusive because it keeps being someplace over there. A world that works for all keeps being someplace over there. What about the world that works for you? When it works for you truly, based in good and kindness and love and generosity and your cup of acceptance running over, the life that you really desire, the life that you really want to live. Really, really. Not based in separation, not based in hate, not based in otherness. Nobody really wants that. Even if it appears that way, it's an illusion that we're going to get to where we want to get to by otherizing. It's not the way it is. What unifies us? Espouses a greater love, wholeness. What desire do you have? I'm still waiting here, gang. I want to hear from you. Somebody just type it in. You can be anonymous. There we go. Eager guest. I desire to find joy in my day and bring the same to all I come in contact with today. Boom. I desire to find joy in my day and bring the same to all I come into contact with today. Is that not, that's true for all of us, is it? I take that one on for myself as well. I want to find joy in my day and the same to all I come in contact with. I'm sure Jeff wants that. My daughter wants that. My friends want that. My colleagues want that. That is a desire. And eager guest, what does Ernest Holmes say about that desire? I am guided into right action and successful accomplishment of that desire. This I accept. This I experience. What else is going on out there? Somebody's got a desire out there. Somebody else has something they want. A desire that makes your heart sing, that opens you up, fills you full, brings you to that place of peace and a real joy, like eager guest, real joy. What is dancing on your heart today that you are ready and willing to accept and experience and know that you are guided into divine right action, into the right thing to do and the right thing to say? That's what divine right action is. It's in any situation you find yourself in, the thought comes to you to demonstrate that desire. The words come to you to demonstrate that desire. That you're moved to say something. You might be uncomfortable doing it, but you're moved to say something to somebody that you might not normally say something to. Or that extra 30 or 60 seconds with the clerk at the checkout stand at the grocery store, or the hardware store, or the kitchen store, or wherever you are at. Just yesterday, Went up to a guy, I saw his shoes, and made me think of a shoemaker I know. Is a shoemaker still called a cobbler, I think? Is that an old school term? But I saw some shoes, and they looked like the kind of shoes that my friend would design. And I just went up to him and I said, where did you find those shoes? And we just had a moment of interaction, which was pleasant and wonderful. Masks on, socially distanced, but it was just a moment of connection. Now, I know that's not the easiest thing that comes to folks, but that's still a way we can be connected. The spiritual path oftentimes calls us to be just a bit outside of our comfort zone. Just a bit outside of where we're most comfortable. Because then what? What do we know when we're just a bit outside of our comfort zone? That we're growing. That we're growing. David Flint says, I desire complete emancipation from all discord in my life. Yes. Oh my goodness, look at this picture. You want to show everybody what you drew? Milagro Hall just drew this. What a drawing. Thanks, babe, for sharing. Virtual school. I desire complete emancipation from all discord in my life. David Flint will be guided in the direction of having that happen. Guidance. This is your intention in your life. This is the desire in your life. And because of that, you will be guided in that direction. Why? Because it's what we're putting our attention on. You will find what you're looking for. We all find what we're looking for. What are you looking for? Freedom from all discord? Or discord? Beautiful relationships or a fight? Financial solvency and thriving or financial troubles? We are waking up, gang. And it's an inside job, but it's a collective job as well. And that's why we want to get our team around us. Those people that can help remind us. When your head's up, you're you know what, and you got to get it out of there. Someone's going to remind you of that. Hey, your head's not in the right place. That's what we're up to, gang. And that's what I have to share with you today. I want to read this last part one more time, just to bring it home before we start to wrap this puppy up here. Today is filled with blessings for myself and others. The past is gone, and I gladly loose it and let it go. The present is filled with peace and joy, and the future with hope. Gratefully, I accept of the divine love and givingness and gladly extend them to everyone I meet. I am made whole with the wholeness of the Spirit. Gently, but with complete certainty, I am guided into right action and successful accomplishment of all good desires. This I accept. This I experience. And that, my friends, is today's sharing. I'd like to continue to remind you that we appreciate your financial support of our Center for Spiritual Living Palm Desert. CSLPalmDesert.org, or you can text to 760-292-2233. You can call in 760-346-4649. We gratefully continue to accept your financial contributions to support the work that we're up to, which is this, and what we're doing 7 days a week, multiple times during those 7 days at some point. And we love that you pick and choose what works for you. Just know that at 10 o'clock, every day we've got something, and oftentimes at other times. If you go to CSLPalmDesert.org, You'll see all of our offerings, our entire calendar of what we've got going on. Beyond Limits starts January 25th. That's in what, 10 days from now? 9 days? A week from this coming Monday. January 25th, 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Pacific time. Join me on the journey. Go to the website, cslpalmdesert.org. Call the office. Based on what we talked about before, we'll make sure and get you in the right promotional slot. Either the buy one or 150% off, or the family pod thing of buy three and get the fourth for free. We'll take care of you. Don't worry about that. The bottom line is make the motion, do the thing in order to make sure you're in that class for 10 weeks. Does 10 weeks seem like a long time? It's 2.5 hours a week, maximum. We'll be done by 8:30 maximum every night at the latest. Beyond Limits, 10 weeks. Starts January 25th. We will be rocking and rolling, diving into who you really are and what you're really capable of. It's going to be good. cslpalmdesert.org. 760-346-4649 is the main number. We want to hear from you. We want to hear from you. What? You won what? She won a prize. What prize? You want to say anything?
I won points.
She won points. She won! See, that's what it feels like. That's actually a perfect timing. In Beyond Limits, you're going to come out of there going, I won! What did you win? My life! I won my life! Your life. What you're capable of, what's possible for you. I won! I love it. Okay, that's what we've got for today. Have an extraordinary weekend. Remember to live your life on love. And remember, tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., we've got a meditation coming to you. And remember, Sunday, Dr. Joe's got another wonderful message for you. And then on Monday, Dr. Joe's back for his 10 a.m. program. And then we keep bringing it and bringing it and bringing it all for you. You know it's true. Everything I do, we do it for you. Is that Bryan Adams? Yeah, I won't be winning a Grammy anytime soon, but you get where I'm coming from. Much peace, much love. Make today the best day ever. We're out of here.